It bothers me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention. And so then like I begin to internalize it and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're not looking.
What?
You're not
Like,
looking. You're not even. But I'm gonna tell you something else.
Hey guys, and welcome to Little Black Book. You already know what time it is. We're here to give you guys a little review on the Ayesha Curry situation on the red table with Jada Pinkett Smith. If you're new to the channel, you already know what to do. Make sure you, well, if you're new to the channel, how would you know what to do? If you're new to the channel, like, share, subscribe. For those you are returnees, you already know what time it is. You ain't got the minerals, baby. Listen, are you mad? Let's get into this again. Wait, okay, cool. So I've actually broken down this video. It's a 2-minute video, which is actually a snippet of the full extent of the actual video. We have Twitter went off on a mad thing discussing it, and I feel like a lot of people misconstrued what she actually said. The reason why I believe a lot of people misconstrued what she says because they don't listen. They just want to take sound bites and make it into something more than it actually is. One thing I want to let you know about relationships is that no matter who is in a relationship with you, there are going to be times where you're going to feel uncomfortable, there's going to be times where you're going to feel insecure, there's going to be times where you feel jealous, there's going to be times where you feel envious. These are natural feelings that come into play when you're in a relationship. Why are we battering somebody when they're explaining their insecurity? I think it's because a lot of you have a thing against Ayesha Curry. I think because, you know, she set a certain standard and you guys want to paint her as perfect. She never said she was perfect, she said she painted a certain standard for herself and you guys have turned it into a massacring now. So, but let me break down the actual video and see what we got into. Cool. One thing that she said obviously is that, you know, at the very beginning she said obviously, look, you know, that, you know, her husband, Steph Curry, they've been together for 10 years. Obviously, the last decade or so, she has been... the last decade or so, he has been having these groupies throw themselves at him.
It bothers me and like honestly has given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention.
Okay, and she's had to witness this. Now, I read some vlog articles as well where she said, obviously, you know what, it gets to a point where because Steph is such a nice guy, such a friendly guy, he will just have conversation with these women, and she gets to the point where she's like, hey, she has to step in. That's point number one. Point number two is also as well, I also researched a little bit of her background. I realized that she was in another interview where Steph Curry's talking. He says that before they got together, she was actually in LA pursuing an acting career.
Again, I like to say we've always met again out in LA when I was for the ESPYs after the tournament run, because she was living out there pursuing her acting career.
Now, I know she's not pursuing an acting career now. We know that obviously she's a strong businesswoman, but the accolades and the validation and the ego trip that comes from being in acting and the male attention would be different to what it is right now. She's a businesswoman, she's a mother of 3, you know, for the last decade she's been supporting Steph Curry and obviously doing her own thing as well. So the situation is completely different. The reason why I mentioned the background, I want you to understand is that we don't know the full extent of why she gave up the acting career. Now, maybe she gave it up because she realized, okay, cool, John, Steph Curry's moving forward. There's another interview where she's speaking to another woman, and she says, obviously, she didn't even know Steph Curry was that big. I think this is like 11 years ago or whatever. She didn't even know he was that big. She's like, why is everyone wearing your top? Like, da-da-da. She then came into understanding, Ross, guy's big. Now, when your partner is so huge, okay, in terms of actually... you know, social power, not just finances, but everybody knows the name of your husband. You must understand that this creates a dynamic within your relationship. This creates a shadow which you will always be under. Now, if you're not comfortable being in the shadow, you will never be comfortable in that relationship fully. Now, I'm not saying she's a bad woman. I'm not saying that she can't commit to a relationship. I'm not saying he's going to cheat. I'm not saying anything like that. What I am saying is, though, when you're in the shadow and you are not comfortable being in the shadow of somebody, you will have a problem. That's why I mentioned the background. She was pursuing an acting career. If she had an acting career and it took off, she would not be in the shadow. We would be mentioning them separately. Okay, like a lot of our actors that we do. For instance, Brad Pitt and Angelina Jolie. You don't mention Angelina Jolie underneath Brad Pitt. You understand? But maybe so when you mention Ayesha Curry, you mention her underneath Steph Curry. Do you understand? So instantly there's a dynamic that's going on which we haven't. This comes down to a value. How do you value yourself? How do you view yourself? How do you perceive that you're valued? Okay. Now she said a decade. Okay, she spent a decade. Okay, of seeing her husband have groupies throw themselves at him, or try to move to him, or whatever.
Of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that yeah, like there are all these women like throwing themselves, but me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that.
Now that instantly promotes promotes that his stock is high, his value is high, his desirability is high. Now, regardless of whether Steph Curry wants these girls or not, that is in some way or shape or form validating the ego within his own mind that he's desirable. It doesn't make a difference whether he wants his woman or not. As a human nature and trait, these women throwing themselves at him are showing him that he is desirable. Now, when you're the opposite party and you're rolling with somebody and that person's always getting girls and you are not getting, always getting opposite sex attention and you are not receiving that same level of attention, there is going to be drawbacks or insecurity or some type of thought that, hey, and she mentioned it, she said, okay, cool, it's like, hey, like, am I not good enough?
Internalize it, and I'm like, is something wrong with me?
You're not looking.
What?
You're not
Like,
looking. You're not even. But I'm gonna tell you something else.
To receive some of the attention, because naturally what happens is when you spend time or be in a place of somebody who's powerful, normally that rubs off onto the person who's rolling with you. A bit like how guys do when one of their guys is a superstar in the city or whatever, superstar in the town or whatever. If they roll with that guy, they know they can get the breadcrumbs that fall off him, and they can collect the girls that are around the ones that don't go for the main guy. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have to deep it. Like, it's a psyche that happens. Naturally, the power that somebody holds will naturally kind of, some of it would sprinkle onto the person next to you. Unfortunately, the power of Steph Curry and him having women chase after him is not falling on to Ayesha, so she feels a certain way. This is not her being egotistical. This is a case of human biological nature playing and taking its course. Now, you must understand as well, in the last decade, Steph Curry has got bigger, not smaller. His perceived value has increased, whereas Ayesha Curry's potentially for her would have either stayed the same, which means the gap has widened, or her rate of increase of growth has not matched up to his. So there's been a widening of the gap in terms of perceived value, in terms of desirability from the opposite sex. Now, I remember I saw a tweet on the TL about her tweeting saying, oh, these guys are trying to, she's in an auto gas filling up station, and she's like, oh, these guys are trying to show me attention, I'm not really on it. Now, at that time, she never had any kids. At that time, I don't think she had any kids at that time. At that time, she was, just coming into Steph Curry, etc. And obviously, I think they had been married, dating or married by then. So, at that point, she was getting the attention that would validate the ego that tells her that you're desirable. Okay. Now, when you get married and have kids and everything like that, things do change. Now, like I said, the gap between them in terms of perceived value and desirability has definitely widened, because Steph Curry's reputation has increased from 10 years ago. This guy is worldwide. Do you understand? So the person who's in a relationship with the person whose perceived value is increasing continuously at an exponential rate, and yours is not keeping up, there will be some type of repercussion from that. This is just psychological stuff that's going on. And once you understand it, you begin to say that, okay, this is how we can actually impact and bring change to the situation. And she also mentioned that, she's also got zero attention now. Like I said, she tweeted 2011 about having attention from males.
Like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that. Like I have zero, this sounds weird, but like male attention.
Now in 2011, now she's mentioned obviously that zero attention. Let me just put this clear. Most women, certain type of women, when they say they have zero attention, it doesn't mean it's zero attention. what she's really saying is the attention that I do get, okay, is not of the caliber that will allow my ego to be stroked. Because this is about the ego. This is about the being desired. Now, being desired by people who you don't find attractive or you don't find are of a certain caliber doesn't do anything for anybody. If you've got 10 gal, chasing after you, but they're all clapped according to how you see them, then you're not going to feel desired. Really and truly, no. The part of you might feel a little bit tapped, like, okay, some girls want me. But in terms of actual desirability, it's like you want somebody who you think, okay, cool, there is some kind of thing that I have towards you, some type of affinity, some type of attraction towards you. I don't need to wife you or anything, or I don't need to have even sex with you, anything like that, but I appreciate your level of caliber in terms of you liking me. Therefore, my ego can now be stroked. Your ego is not stroked when a girl's butters and she's feeling you. Your ego is not stroked when a guy's butters and is feeling you. So what Ayesha Curry is saying here is that the caliber of men that are coming after her, because let me tell you something, Ayesha Curry is not ugly. She's a pretty girl. Okay, I believe that there will be, I know she's a woman. There are some guys that are cool with you that you know that will definitely try to slide in. But the truth of the matter is, you want to feel desired. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with that. And when I say desired as well, not desired as a wife. You see, part of us wants to, that's why we love the word sexy. Part of us wants to feel that desire, that somebody wants to sleep with us. I'm not talking about you want them to actually do it with you. But I'm saying you want that, someone who is of a certain caliber. Again, I'm mentioning caliber according to you, what you perceive to be a certain level of attraction. You want a certain caliber to feel a certain way towards when they see you. Or at least you want to know that, okay, look, there is a certain group of people that when I know that they want me like that. I know that they desire me like that. Do you know what I'm saying? Because women, let me make this another point. Women want to be worshipped. Okay? Why do they want to be worshipped? Because the way that God created us. Number one, when Eve, was being tempted by the snake, one of the reasons that the devil actually used was that this will make you wise as like God. So the woman wanted to be almost like God. When she heard that, she heard be like God. You understand? You will be like gods. And when she heard that, she wanted to eat the fruit from the tree. Guess what being like God is? Worship. Because that's the same thing that Satan fell from. He fell because he wanted to be worshipped. And so therefore our sin was that when pride sets in, it makes you want to be worshipped and receive the acclaimants rather than God. So the way that a woman is made is that she is the glory of a man. That's what the Bible says, that she's the glory of a man. Now, when someone's the glory of a person, right, and we're in the fallen state, but we're not talking about in the garden now, I'm talking about after the garden. Because we're in the fallen state now, when the woman is the glory of the man, she seeks the worship. You see, because God, the Bible says that God made male and female, and they were made in His image. That means both of us together make the image of God. Guess what? There's a part of God that loves worship. He wants your worship. That's the female side. The other part of Him where He said He's just, he's let's say wrathful coming or whatever. He says He's a jealous God as well. Like you can say that, whatever you want to say about it. But He has the male side and the female side. The female side wants to worship, and so therefore the woman has always sought, when the fallen state kicked in, when we had fell from the Garden of Eden, the worships, the flesh side of us said, look, we want the worship. So you will notice that women, when you praise them for business, fantastic, you can praise them for that. Praise them for doing a good job. Praise them for looking after the kids, etc. But when you praise a woman on her looks, it's a total different ball game. Why? Because they are the glory of men. And the reason why is because the way that God has made them, they love words. They love words. You see, in the Garden of Eden, how did Satan get Eve to be twisted up? He twisted her up with words. And how did she twist up Adam? She didn't say anything. She just gave him the fruit. She didn't say take it and eat. She just gave him the fruit. Because men are moved by action, women are moved by words. Okay? And so women love when you compliment them on their looks. Because that's the way God has made their nature and their DNA. So they love when they're being complimented on their physical appearance. That's why the Bible always keeps saying, listen, woman, don't concentrate on the outer adornment of yourself. Why? Because of the way they've been created. So when Ayesha is saying that she's not getting zero attention, what she's saying is, I'm not getting complimented by the type of guys that are a certain caliber that can let me feel like my ego is being stroked. And I get it. It's human nature. You understand? Let's move on. Cool. I said obviously that what is her value? Is it increasing? Is it staying the same? Is it decreasing? Let me put it honest with you. Potentially her value is decreasing. Why do I say that? Here's the thing. You see, at the moment, okay, she is a mother of 3. Okay, the way she presents herself is very prim, very proper. okay? And also we see her as not Ayesha Curry, we see her as Ayesha Curry, the wife of Steph Curry. Cool. When you put all those factors into place, it's almost like having a single mother, okay? You know when you see a girl who's buff, no kids, I'll call it this, her buying power is huge, yeah? In terms of who she can pick, yeah? In terms of the caliber of men she can pick, huge. The moment she gets pregnant and is a single mother, look at the pick, reduces instantly. So her buying power instantly reduces. This is what creates a narrative of what's your value, how do you feel? Because what Ayesha's talking about now is her buying power. That's what she said in the last 10 years, the last decade, she's seen women throw themselves at Steph Curry. Steph Curry's buying power has increased. In fact, we have a thing in business where we say inflation versus interest. If I have £10,000, okay, now 10 years ago, £10,000 could get me 10% deposit of a house of a certain value, yeah? Now, when I got £10,000 now, 10 years later, that value, I can only buy 8% of that house now. My buying power has reduced. I've still got £10,000. I'm still Ayesha Curry, but my buying power has reduced. Why? Because certain things have taken place and certain things have happened in the market that have reduced the buying power. That is what rate of inflation has reduced the buying power of my finances. So when it comes to Ayesha Curry and Steph Curry, what is the buying power, the value? Well, the fact is she's had kids, she's a wife, and now obviously she's a businesswoman, everything like that. She never gives off that vibe that, you know what, somebody teased me a little bit. She never gives off that sexy vibe. She never gives it off. She always gives a very prim proper, which she's always low key. So to be honest, at the moment, let me put it this way. And so when I said obviously, just to go back onto the buying power, the rate of inflation, obviously in terms of a relationship, the rate of inflation here would be time. For a woman, when it gets to around about 30, the age of 30, she starts to think in different ways, okay? Because the body clock is kicking, yeah? Now she already had the kids, that's fine, but the way that the woman is, when it gets to about 30, the mind starts to change, the way they view the world starts to change, apparently. So let's say that, Ayesha Curry is approaching that age now. I believe Steph Curry is 31, so she's probably, I think they're roughly about the same year, so she's at the 30 age, okay? So the rate of inflation has, in her mind, has begun to kick in. And so now she believes her bargaining power in terms of having that attention has reduced. And so therefore she feels her value, her desirability in this area has also reduced. It makes sense. Another thing is this, because Steph Curry is having women throw themselves at him, he has power. And I want you to understand, women are attracted to power. You understand? So, deep it, yeah? Because power is the ability to influence. Might is the ability to enforce. So like I said, women, they're moved by words, by power. Men are moved by might, action. So when you want to get a man to do anything, you just tell him to do something. You don't tell him to do something, you do it. You just show him how to do it. Do you understand? When you want a woman to do something, you talk to her about doing it. Do you understand? This is just the way it is, man. Do you know what I mean? And obviously it's not a hard and fast rule. Some people would like to break that rule, but that's fine. So, but the thing is here, is that Steph Curry, again, in the bargaining power here, has a greater bargaining power because he has a multitude of women throwing themselves at him. He's not having to go out and search for these women. They're coming. So at any given time, his choice is huge, and therefore choice is power. You see, when you have choice, you have the ability to make a choice and a decision. That is power. Ayesha is saying that I do not have the level of power that he has. It's unfair, unbalanced in the relationship. Let's be real. Because all the girls that are throwing themselves at him are creating this narrative of choice. But if they were to throw themselves at her, she would also have that same ability to have made a choice. At the moment, she doesn't. It's almost like, you know what? And it might even sound bad, I don't know. But it's almost like, being in a relationship and, I'm only in a relationship with you because I can't get anybody else. It's almost like that kind of feeling. And it's like, you know what? Nobody's saying that she wants to be dicked down by anybody. She's not saying she wants to have sex with anybody. What she's saying is the value, the desirability effect. She wants to feel desired almost by someone. And it's not unusual. Because all it's saying is, I want to remember that I am desirable. Now, I know my husband may love me, may care for me, may want me, may tell me he loves me, may buy things for me, may do everything for me, and we've got a perfect relationship. But the truth of the matter, this is why we need Jesus. The truth of the matter is, the nature of this flesh that we're in is selfish. And it is broken. And therefore it seeks validation. Nobody's validation is within themselves. I keep saying this. Nobody is buff by themselves. We make you buff. If we didn't agree that you are buff, you wouldn't be buff. It's as simple as that. We make you buff. You understand? Deep it. When you understand what I'm saying, you get it. Nobody wears their best clothes into bed. Nobody wears their best clothes around the house. Why? Because you want to show off to the rest of the world. Don't lie to yourself and say to yourself, no, I just want to go out and look my best. But for who? You see, none of you, wear your best clothing, your best dress, your best jeans, your best trainers inside the house. You wear it to go outside the house because there's going to be who outside? People. It's as simple as that. You know what I'm saying? That's why I laugh at you. I think to myself, you're moving mad. Self-confidence. It is based upon something. Your confidence is based upon something. It's based upon whether your money. It's based upon your job. It's based upon your morals that you've been given. It's based upon the relationship you're in. It's based upon what your parents even said to you. But whatever it is, your confidence, even if it's God, your confidence is not within you. Your confidence is coming from something. Some of you is your looks, and you've been told since jump, oh, you're a good looking girl, you're a good looking guy, and now you've got self-confidence. Some of you, you know what, like your parents are big boy money makers. Everybody knows you, everybody's cool with you because your parents are big boy money makers. You know what I'm saying? Some of you, your self-confidence comes from the fact that, listen, you're the smartest person in the room, but it's not self-confidence because it's based upon what? It's based upon a precept that you are smart. Listen, there is nothing that is self-confidence. It has to be based on something external to become internal. Do you know what I'm saying? It has to be considered something of a significance out there for it to be internalized as this is good. If we said that was bad, there would be no self-confidence in that thing. Just saying, man.
It's given me a sense of a little bit of an insecurity is the fact that, there are all these women like throwing themselves. But me, like the past 10 years, like I don't have any of that.
There's a psychology thing where it talks about when a social group likes a particular person, or let's say a social group finds a certain person attractive, and that attractive person gets into a relationship. Number one, the woman who dates that person who's attractive, or that man who dates that woman that's attractive, that's socially attractive, actually confirms to everybody else, okay, great, they're in a relationship with me now. Actually, they are a good spouse. And it sends off a signal that this person's a good mate. This person, because it's biological, this person's a good mate. This person's a good partner to partner up with. And because you're sending off that signal by saying it's a great person, the other opposite sex were also looking at the situation, going, okay, cool. Then if that's good, you also want to buy. It's a bit like word of mouth marketing, or you endorse something and say, hey, look, this product is amazing, go out and get it. What does everybody do? Go out and get it. Why? Because at the end of the day, you've endorsed it. And so when somebody gets a relationship and they're attractive in a social group, you're endorsing it. So what's happened here is that because Steph Curry is the bigger I guess biggest socially, what's happened is that obviously because Ayesha's now married to him, he becomes the prize. And what happens is the women then chase after him because Ayesha's actually saying this is a great man, and she said it before, he is a great guy, he's very likable, he helps around the house, he's not lazy, he's not like that, he's not chauvinistic. So right now we've got a perfect man, and guess what, there are a lot of girls who want that. And again, it increases his buying power in comparison to Ayesha, because it's all about supply and demand. Now, if there's no demand, there's no supply. If there's no demand, there's no power on the person who owns the goods, because your power comes from people demanding and wanting to buy your goods. Now, if no one's trying to buy the goods, where does your power go? It decimates. And so, same thing with Ayesha. What she's saying is that my power is lacking in this situation. I don't have any, because Steph Curry gets all the attention. She's not saying she wants dick. What she's saying is what she really wants is the equilibrium in terms of actually attention. It may not ever happen. It may never happen. But she wants it.
Wrong with
You're
me?
not looking.
What?
You're not even. But I'm gonna tell you something else.
The reason why she's not getting any attention is because she's not looking. Now, there's an element of truth to that, but it's not the full truth. And the reason why I say that is because women sometimes are not looking for anything. and the guy will still come. So necessarily, it doesn't need her to be looking. The truth of the matter is that Ayesha Curry hasn't got groupies coming. She's not going to have groupies come in because of the way she is. She's not going to have groupies coming. And you know what? Guys will always come. Do you know what I'm saying? But like I said, is it the caliber that she wants? That's why she's saying zero attention.
Because I don't want it, but
Yeah.
it'd be nice to know that, like, someone's looking.
But
that
when
could
your
get
radar's
dangerous.
turned
She said obviously doesn't have it, but it'd be nice to have. The truth is, our partners are not fully enough. That's what I keep saying. Like, their confidence is not based upon your relationship. Their confidence is based upon what they perceive to be their confidence, what they perceive to be their value. And if they feel their value is not of a certain caliber, they'll question it. They'll question the relationship because they'll be like, how can you be with me, someone like me? Look at me and look at you. And instantly there's a comparison there because obviously, like I said, your perceived value and stuff. So that's one of the things. See, because obviously your partner's getting so many of the opposites attracted to him, and like I said, you will start to think, well, is there anything wrong with me? And then the question will come in is, am I punching above my weight? When you start asking that question, insecurity is already set in, and it's a problem. So when you start asking, am I punching above my weight? Then you're instantly going to have trouble with yourself. Do you know what I'm saying? Instantly. Why are people not actually chasing after Ayesha Curry? The truth of the matter is, you know what, bruv? She's so low-key, and I don't think she's always in open spaces like that. So therefore, there's little or no exposure to men who are probably not going to be married or who are going to be single. Do you know what I mean? There's not going to be much exposure to men who are single and straight and wanting you. Do you know what I mean? So that's probably one of the things. Number two is obviously she never gives off that vibe that she's going to open the door. And I think for a lot of guys who are trying to do, because the reason why these guys who are coming in, they want to chop cake and eat it. Now, if you don't show me interest in that area, if you don't give us that vibe, then there's gonna be no doors for us to exploit. There's gonna be no holes to exploit. So what happens is guys just tend to kind of stay away because it's like, if I get close to you, you're gonna give me relationship vibe or wife vibe. But really what we're trying to say is, no, we want sex type of vibe. We don't want you to be in a relationship. You can have a relationship. What we want is you. But because she doesn't give off that energy, I'm guessing men don't approach for that reason.
When your radar's turned off, because I dealt with that for years too, and I was young, like you.
Yeah.
No, the radar's not off, man. Do you know what it is? She just doesn't present that type of woman. She doesn't present that she's a sexy woman like that. She doesn't promote that. So to be honest, the type of guys are gonna come, they're gonna be low. Maybe there might not be any guys coming. I mean, one thing I heard was obviously the guys are respecting Steph Curry. We don't respect Steph Curry. If we're trying to move to somebody's girl, we don't care about Steph Curry. That's not the reason why guys not moving to her. The reason why guys not moving to her is because she's too prim and proper. And she presents the idea that you know what, you won't be able to get me into a naughty thing. And the reason is men want to have a slice of cake and not have the whole cake. We don't want the whole cake, we just want a piece of you. Do you understand? So when you deep it, you start to understand, okay, that's the reason why certain guys will not go for Ayesha Curry. I mean, when I see Ayesha Curry, I don't get excited. I don't think to myself I want her. Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think that. Whereas I see Jada Pinkett Smith, I look at her and I'm like, damn, baby, I want you, man. I want you, man. Even at your age now, I want you, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So the different vibe that she's giving, she doesn't give off that vibe. Do you know what I'm saying? You know what? She's had kids and she had freedom. So her body would have changed, her mind would have changed. And if she's feeling like she's gained, I don't know, it looked like she's gained a bit of weight and everything, I don't know. If she feels like she's gained a bit of weight or anything like that, that will instantly throw her into turmoil. You know what I'm saying? Instantly. And that will cause her to behave erratically. So, there's a lot of reasons as to why I believe that Ayesha Curry wasn't saying that she wants to have sex with anybody. She was just basically just stating that, you know what, her perceived value in comparison to her husband's either seems like he's not growing enough, is stagnant, or is decreasing because he's increasing exponentially. His power and his perceived value is always on the go because he's an NBA player. And not only that as well, you have to think for Ayesha Curry as well, that everybody in that industry, most people in that industry don't have good marriages. The marriages keep on breaking. But that's my personal opinion. I really like Ayesha Curry and I think she does a great job. And I think, to be honest, when you break down all of this stuff and you start to realise that, you know what, when she's saying that she doesn't want, to have the actual male attention, I know what she means. So yeah, guys, little black book, you already know what time it is. So your money lean. Don't get twisted. You ain't got the minerals. If you like what I said, make sure you like, share, subscribe, and comment down below. Let me know your thoughts on the Ayesha Curry situation. Appreciate you.